So you got these five in a synergistic manner. And, I always like to play a little bit as devil's advocate because as I said in the beginning, there's a ton of technology out there. I mean, you were at the biohacking. That's only a little bit of what's in the medical field of what I've seen, even at places like Baden-Baden Medicine Week and, Europe and all these other places that have so much technology going on out there. Everyone's saying they're the best, which is fine. It's just, you want to start to differentiate that because right now I'm sitting on a PEMF mat, right? A Therasage PEMF mat. It's just that at home, it's going to be different. It has some light in it. It's amethyst stones and all of that. But if you were to make that pitch to a patient or practitioner, okay, you've heard of these things. We've, PEMF, amp coil, all these different ones. Vibroacoustic, there's different ones there. Light therapy, you have red light beds. What would be your pitch? Is it the synergy? Is it the quality? Is it both? What are the differentiating factors of the Ammortal versus others that are out there and maybe even copying in some ways, trying to say, yeah, we have all of that too?
Yeah, that's a good question. The body at all times is either a capacitor or a resistor. So a capacitor, for those who don't remember, it's a battery. The difference between battery and capacitor spills over the extra electrons. Okay. So the reason that you stack these things and you lower the power is because at any given time, the body is in a state of capacitance or resistance. So in a high resistance state, say there's a lot of oxidative stress, a lot of emotional stress, chronic illness, whatever that might be. Oxidation is loss of electrons. So that's basically a low energy, high resistance state. And what happens to a system in that state is that the body will only absorb a small amount of the total energy that it's given. I'll give you a really, really good example.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all familiar with like leaky gut, right? So in the state of leaky gut, you have a lot of flow. There's a lot of attraction because the body wants more nutrients. It's literally breaking down. You have fissures in the gut. It's absorbing more stuff, but it's not utilizing all that very well. In fact, there's actually quite a bit of waste in that system. So that's an example of where there's a lot of oxidative stress and the body just doesn't absorb. In that case, the energy that we're talking about is in the form of food. Well, same thing happens with the other forms of energy that the body runs on. It could be light, it could be vibration, it could be whatever. If you just blast it with a really, really high power, you tend not to overcome the resistance. You tend to actually just kind of block it off. The body is in a constantly dynamic state. So instead of like turning up the juice and making like the most powerful light bed that we could make, knowing that, you might block 65% of that at any given time, what we did is we kind of turned down the juice on all of these different modalities. And we thought differently. We said, well, what if the human body was in the ideal scenario? What is that ideal scenario? Well, it's probably out in nature. There's probably not a ton of stress. There's probably ambient sound, ambient atmospheres, ambient light, right? There's probably some element of earthing or grounding in there. So there's exchange of electrons. That's like the slow plug, recharge your car. Right? And that is the state that we evolved in for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So we replicate that. Instead of blasting the body with one giant powerful modality, we basically said, well, what if we can just replicate and put somebody in a parasympathetic state, give them a very good vibrational experience, very good sound experience, a very good light experience that doesn't overwhelm the body, but provides about 20%. So we stack that and we say, you get 20% here, 20% here, 20% here, 20% here, and 20% here. Then that's how we kind of achieve the 100% that a lot of folks would put into one device. Lo and behold, the body lives in a state of, it's called quantum electrodynamics. That means it's constantly shifting. The dynamic means it's in motion. It's constantly taking and releasing energy. And that is, I'd say, the secret sauce in how it works. You get into the state of mind where the body is receptive to all these energies, and then you just allow it to do what the magic that it does, which is heal itself.
Yeah. You don't want to overwhelm the body ever, I've realized. And a lot of what energy medicine is doing and everything is providing information. But if you provide too much information or it's just yelling over each other information, which again is just, you could take every single modality, throw it into some, Frankenstein machine and say it's all working. But that's kind of like that's like going to a rock concert versus a symphony, right? When you're sitting at rock, it's like you're stressed. It's like, it's a lot of information, a lot of different tunes. It is music, right? In some ways, but it usually isn't resonating well with the body, as opposed to hearing a symphony all work at a nice tone that's easy on the body and works that way. That's what you want in medicine. You want to provide the symphony of information and energy that then restores the body subtly to its homeostasis.